What up, YouTube? I've been pondering this for quite a while, a couple hours now. I haven't been able to sleep. This is kind of like a culmination of 10 years of how I've went through to get to where I'm at, to get this information, and it all tied together. I believe, the 9/11, the Great Awakening happening after that, the Mayan calendar, all that stuff. But, I'm drinking a beer, and it's 5 o'clock some fucking where. 8:42 a.m. I was actually talking to a girl from California area, but she is working in the United Arab Emirates. I don't know how the half-hour thing works, but I think they're 10 and a half hours ahead of us over there. So I told her, I said she's a time traveler, which kind of fucked up. You look at it that way, sort of are. All right, here's the setup I got. I've been trying to figure out, there's the old printer and mysterious amount of ink. I just changed those things a month ago and it hasn't run maybe 3 pages in a month. So I got the new laptop via HDMI cord to the TV in the hotel because I started printing some of the stuff off. And here's the first thing. Even before, this kind of ties into NSA, all the corrupt alphabet agencies, police, all that stuff. Everything back to almost 10 years ago when this first all started for me, when my dumbass sat in front of a computer, a laptop, had a whole bunch of free time on my hands, and thought, what do I want to know? I can learn about anything I want to know about. What the hell do I want to know about? And I remembered I just heard Alex Jones, I didn't even know who he was, about this 9/11 conspiracy crap. And I'm like, because I believed the narrative at first until I researched and until I was awakened. But I'll show you something here. That's kind of this is sort of the rabbit hole that I went down that a lot of people like myself have. This is Charlie Sheen and Alex Jones. Charlie Sheen is Emilio Estevez's brother. Martin Sheen is an Estevez, which most people, I'd say half, 3/4 people in California area, this used to be Mexico. So they're going to have Mexican roots or, nationality tie in there somewhere. Mom, dad, grandma, great-grandma, great-great-great, whatever. But anyhow, I'm going to read to you what this says. I'm going to try and hold it down here so you can read well with me. This is a quote Charlie Sheen said to Alex Jones. "We work for the Pope. We murder people. We're Vatican assassins. How complicated can it be? What they're not ready for is guys like you and I and Nails and all the other gnarly gnarlingtons in my life that we're high priests, Vatican assassin, warlocks. Boom, print that, people. See where that goes." Charlie Sheen said that to Alex Jones. It's public knowledge, He doesn't deny it. And everything I'm saying here and I'm accusing, so be it. Let him fucking sue me for slander, libel, whatever. This is all my fucking opinion, but I'm pretty goddamn sure all signs are pointing to everything that I believed it would. I'm going to try and keep this short because of the upload thing, because I want to get this fucking information out. It is important. I mean, it's mind-blowing. But back to how I believe how I started to get stalked. I was sitting in Haverstraw, New York. It's about 45 minutes northwest of New York City. And there was a hurricane. Oh, boy, I can't remember what hurricane it was. Katrina, the right hook, I think, whatever that was, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that, 2012, 2011. I can't remember, 11, it was my best year. So it may have been 11, so it was like 9 years ago. Anyhow, a 345,000 volt transmission line. It was what they call oil static when it goes underground. It's high voltage like that. It goes basically, to dumb it down, it goes in a pipe full of oil and a cable, whether it be copper, aluminum, whatever. I'm pretty sure they're all copper, not necessarily, but I think. just for splicing purposes and everything. I don't think you can lead splice aluminum, but that's one thing I have never done in line work. But I digress there. What had happened is I looked up, it was the first time I was really on YouTube, and I looked up a video. It said something about this guy typed in the word Illuminati backwards. So what do? I type the word Illuminati in backwards, and the screen pops up with these alphabet agency I'd never heard of, but looked official. It was the federal government, symbols and all that in the background. And it basically told me to cease and desist. It was none of my fucking business. To just put it flat. I don't exactly remember the wording, but it kind of like I didn't go anywhere when I typed that in. I hit Google. I was on Google Google and typed that in keyword, and that's what the screen that popped up. So I'm like, well, fuck this. I'm a goddamn red-blooded American. Who the fuck do you think you are to tell me? I swore to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. I put my life. I'm willing to put my fucking life on the line. For the freedoms, that's what I thought I was fighting for freedom of speech, all our freedoms, for freedom to read and learn and anything I fucking want to. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is the learning process. Wisdom is to know whether you should use that knowledge or not. It's kind of cut and dry. But anyhow, I did it the second time. Typed in Illuminati, and it same thing popped up. Well, this time I remember seeing it. It's NSA. What the fuck is the NSA? 9 years ago, I had never heard of the NSA. Not many people had, I believe, 9-10 years ago. So then I tried it a third time. Fuck you. Who do you think you fucking are to tell me that I can't fucking look up whatever I want? Well, this time it fucking the computer shut off. Literally, I didn't even hardly know how to do it. I was piggybacking my phone's hotspot back to the original indestructible kind of Casios or whatever they were, and they were a good phone. I'll give them that. But anyhow, that was the first internet capable, true internet capable phone. So those flip phones where you could hunt and peck around, but you couldn't really do anything on the internet. Well, later that day, I didn't think anything of it, but it was two plain Jane SUVs, and I thought one was chasing the other one. I thought they were gangbangers, and they're shooting ensued, and long time later, I don't know, it was probably 5-8 minutes later, guys, it was only 3/4 of a mile or a mile, if that far through the woods. I was in the cemetery. It just happened to be where there was a vault, where there was a break in the cable. They could work on it. And I sat there. Anyhow, buddies were down in the substation. They drove up around. It was 4 miles to drive around to get to me, just to check on me, make sure I was all right. They heard that. They heard gunshots too. They thought it may have been kids playing with firecrackers or something, but they were pretty sure it was gunshots. Well, it's 3 hours plus later. It's just about dark. I'm sitting in this van watching, trying to watch more YouTube videos, whatever. And I happen to look outside and I see these, uniformed police officers kind of bending, looking around, off in the distance over where on the other side of the cemetery, over by the highway or the main road or the road, anyhow, a street. And and it started raining. Well, after a little bit, this plainclothes young, I'd say Spanish-looking dude. I don't know, he's Mexican, Latino. He knocks on the van door. He's Haverstraw City Police detective, whatever. Introduced himself, asked if he can get in the van. We exchanged pleasantries. Wanted to know what I heard, whatever. I told him what I saw. I believe it was 9mm. How do you know that? Well, I qualified with them in the military. I own a few of them, and I've shot a lot of them. And I said, I know what it had a very distinctive sound. Okay, yeah. Oh, you're from Pennsylvania. How many guns do you own? Oh, at the time, I probably owned 100, 150. spread out, all, not all good, not all bad, but it's just the thing where I'm from, as my father always said, they don't go bad. He has guns, with inflation, he paid, $200 for a gun how long ago, and he can get 300-400 out of that same gun, so. But I'm kind of getting off subject here of my whole point, but I wanted to share that with you. This is what I was researching, and a girl I was talking to at the time, she lived in Toledo, Ohio, and back and forth. I told her the day that I really was awakened, truly awakened that night, and with all I'd learned, all I'd seen, I believe what kind of clicked the switch for me was when I watched a video on the FDA, that the number 1, number 2, and number 3 guys in the FDA 10 years ago, 9 years ago, all 3 of them were on 2 or more boards of pharmaceutical companies, different pharmaceutical companies, which now I know, I see, the FDA buys, sells patents, whatever, they make money off these drug companies. And can you say conflict of interest? Abso-fucking-lutely. But that's kind of where my awakening started. I'm talking to this girl in Toledo, Ohio. I'm in New York. I'm working all over the country. And, telling her as I'm learning stuff to, get on the computer with me after work. I get off work and, check shit out. And I'm bragging about how I'm at a great job for me to be able to let people know and everything else. This is long before I knew about Echelon and all that. And the system that listens for keywords and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if the AI was in place then or not, or a form of it, so to speak, looking for keywords and stuff like that. So I guess a form of the AI was. But that's kind of how I got to be a targeted individual, I believe. Everybody kind of has a general idea, along with some other dumb shit I tried, signing my name and on tax forms and stuff like that, and just see what would happen. And I found out, under duress, sign your name and then write under duress underneath of it and everything for taxes and whatnot. And that was I didn't even know it, but I guess I was what the hell do they call it then? Tax protester, something along that lines, and I was doing it as a fucking joke. Well, yeah, haha, jokes on me now, but it helped wake me up too. I was just putting up with the shit. But all right, I'm 13 minutes into explaining this already. I don't want to go too long, but I'm gonna tie Pizzagate, pedophilia, the rich, the elites, actors, actresses, congressmen, senators, heads of states of all kinds of countries, nations, shapes, sizes, flavors, all that. I watched about an hour and a half of a video. I'm going to try and condense it as much as I can. But, this is some kind of information you don't normally get unless you're sort of looking for it. And this in particular, the pedophilia and all that, I learned about the pedophilia 4 or 5 years ago. I say 4 years ago, anyhow. 3 years ago is when I found out about the cannibalism and all that. And what I was the pedophilia, that the baby raping, I call it. That's what fucking it made my blood boil. But that's not even the worst part. They fucking. I'll get into it, but they kill babies anyhow. We'll put it that way, and scare the shit out of them, young children and all that. And I got all kinds of stories. None of them I can show you the God's honest truth. Other than I'm repeating some of the stories that I will tell you is things I've heard, but from multiple sources, on the internet or whatever. But all right, we're 14 minutes into me. Just trying to shorten this all up, but. Though I be vulgar in speech, I be not vulgar in knowledge. Might be a little break in between here, but I'm going to call this, I guess, prelude to whatever I call it. So, all right, peace.